Love is blind, but the red flags are in 4K. We're one bad text away from crashing out in a probation violation. Welcome to Kinda Unhinged. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another Love After Lockup video, and we are on season 7, episode 12. So we begin this episode with the scene from Bonita, and she's getting ready to go pick up Demond. Meanwhile, Demond and Goddess are still reeling from their first night together, and he tells her that he has to go see his PO today and that his cousin's gonna take him. And she's like, well, how long are you gonna be gone? And he was like, well, I don't really know. I'll call you and let you know. So she's like, all right. Now, of course, we already know Demond's plan. He is going to go see his PO, and then he's going to go get re-released to Bonita. But Bonita doesn't have a car right now, so his parents are going to provide her the car. But of course, he doesn't know what time he's going to get done at the PO, and he doesn't want her to get there before he can get there and be dropped off. So he tells his mom, like, look, I need you to stall a little bit. Don't get her that car until I tell you that it's okay. And of course, his mom agrees. So then we catch up with Brady and Kirsten, and they are leaving the hotel to head to the halfway house. And he gets a FaceTime call from his twins, and this is the first time that he's talked to them in a long time. Because in the other episode, Corey was complaining about how his girls say that he never calls them. And he said that he really wants to rebuild his relationship with them because he hasn't been around them for years at this point. So as they're making their way to the halfway house, they start to get into traffic, and he's realizing that he might be late. So he's getting a little frustrated, and he's telling her, like, look, you need to drive faster. And she was like, well, I can't drive any faster. You just need to call them and let them know what's going on. And he gets so anxious and nervous that he actually throws up. Then we get a scene with Dia, and she gets a call from Cyrus, and he's like, are you excited about picking me up? And she's like, yeah, I can't wait to pick you up. He was like, well, I called my brother and he wanted to come out with us, and I told him that he could. And Dia goes off. She was like, this is our first time meeting each other and you're inviting your brother. I thought it was just going to be me and you. We planned this for a long time. And he was like, I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see you, but I want to see other people too, not just you. And I think that she's tripping a little bit. I mean, first of all, he hasn't seen you at all. He doesn't even know you. So I think that she was out of line for getting so upset that he wants to hang out with his brother. Like, girl, chill. So then we get a scene with Kaylee's brother arriving at her house as her mom is coming out of the house. And he's like, where are you going? She was like, well, Michael put me out. And he was like, what? What happened? And then Kaylee comes out and she's like, what's going on? And her mom tells her what happened. And Kaylee was like, well, I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay for me and the kids. And her mom was like, no, I'm not going to stay here. The kids can come with me and we can go have our own family dinner. They're not our family. So then Michael comes out and he says, well, I didn't put her out. I said that if she can't get along with my mom, then maybe it's best that she's not here. And her mom says, well, your mom doesn't like me and I don't like her either. And Michael says, well, I don't like a lot of people. That doesn't mean I have to be disrespectful to them. And the brother says, well, would you tell your mom the same thing? And he was like, yeah. And he said, well, I think you need to apologize to my mom. And Michael refuses to apologize. Her brother gets upset and starts getting in Michael's face. And Kaylee was like, look, y'all not about to be arguing in my front yard. This is my neighborhood. Once y'all are gone, I'm the one that's got to deal with this. So y'all need to chill. And the brother was like, you know what? F you, Mike. And him and the mom leave. So Kaylee's like, are you happy now? And he was like, no, I didn't want them to leave. And then he goes back in the house, and Kaylee is just irritated because they're having this family dinner and it's only going to be his family there and not hers. So then we get a scene with Carrington and her friend. And her friend was like, what's going on with you and Zay? She's like, oh, we're still together. Well, are you still on dating sites? And are you still talking to London? And she was like, yeah, but when Zay gets out, I'm going to stop doing all of that. And she was like, well, what are you going to do about London? And she was like, well, I like my men older. I mean, you know about Billy, right? And the friend is like, Billy, and Carrington kind of catches herself because she realizes that she slipped. So apparently Billy is her sugar daddy. She said he's like 67 years old and he gives her money, and she claims that he doesn't get any sugar from it. Then she gets a message from Zay that says that his parole got denied because his sister's boyfriend is already paroled to her address, and you can't have two people paroled to the same address. So Carrington is like, okay, what's going to happen? Is it going to get pushed back? So she calls his sister and she's like, hey, did you know that Zay's parole got denied? And the sister was like, no. And she was like, well, can I come over there and talk to you? And she was like, no. And she hangs up. And Carrington's like, what the heck is going on? So in the confessional, the sister was like, well, I don't want them to be together. I want him to be with McKenna because she's trying to be a part of the family. And I don't like Carrington. So Carrington sends her a follow-up text and she's like, I just want to make sure that Zay is going to have a place to go once he's paroled. And she doesn't get any response. So then we catch up to Bonita and she is really starting to get frustrated because Damon's mom is stalling with the car. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna be late. He's gonna be out there waiting for me to pick him up. And she starts crying. She gets so frustrated. And the mom calls her and says, well, we're coming, but it's going to be a little bit later because my husband is at a doctor's appointment. So she's like, all right. And she's like, she doesn't want to be disrespectful to his mom, but she is really annoyed right now. So when they finally do get there, it's well past the time that they said they were going to come. And his mom is like, well, the time got pushed back to 3 to 5. And Bonita was like, oh, well, I guess it's good that I didn't go earlier. I would have been there all day. But when she leaves, she starts to think, well, how does she know that? Because they can't have access to the phones on the same day that they're being released. So then we see Mike's mom come over to Kaylee's house and they tell her what happened with Kaylee's mom. And she's like, well, good. I don't like her anyway. I'm glad she's not here. And of course, like I said, Kaylee is still very annoyed that, oh, his mom gets to be there, but hers doesn't. So at the dinner, Michael says that he has a job interview, and if he gets the job, he'll be able to be on home confinement for 6 months. So after the dinner was over, on their way back to the halfway house, Kaylee tells Michael that he didn't handle things well today. And he says, my cards were declined today. And she said, my mom got thrown out of our house today. And he said, you chose to run my credit into the ground. And she said, well, you chose to have a family dinner that my family was excluded from. And he said, your family voluntarily left. And he's like, look, let's just focus on the positive and hope that tomorrow is a better day. So then we catch back up with Dia, and she says that Cyrus' mom called her and reassured her that Cyrus is into her and he's wanting to come home to her. So then we see her go to pick him up. And of course, she's super nervous because they've never met in person. So when he finally comes out, they're hugging. And I'm looking at him and all I can think about is who braided this guy's hair? Like, how do you come out of there with your hair fresh? We saw Damond. He came out like this. And Cyrus comes out like this. What's going on here? So these two are very attracted to each other. And Cyrus almost feels like he's living a dream. He said that he's been in prison like his whole adult life and he can't believe that he's coming out to this woman. And he's so in love with her, but he's afraid that the transition from them just being on the phone all the time to being in real life is gonna be really hard. So then we get a scene with Carrington talking to her stepdad, and she's really worried about Zay being released. She said that she called the prison and found out that he had 3 disciplinary actions, and that means that he's not going to be able to get out on time. But he said that he had a friend that would be reaching out to her. So the friend reached out and said that he can get those disciplinary actions gone by the next day. All he needs is $100 for each one. So that's $300. And the stepdad's like, that sounds like a scam to me. And she was like, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, he sent me like $7,000 while he was in there. So I feel like I should send him the $300. And her stepdad was like, $7,000? I didn't know that. Where did he get $7,000 from? Well, he had a business going on in there. I don't know what he was doing, but he's not doing it anymore, and that's why he needs the money. And all I'll say to that whole thing is all of that is very sketch. So we end the night off with Damond and Bonita. So he gets back to the jail in time. He's changing his clothes back to the DOC clothes. And then he realizes that he doesn't have the DOC shoes. He had on some designer shoes. So his cousin was like, wait, I got some slides. You can put those on real quick and save the day. Because I was like, look, you just got to take the shoes off and be barefoot or something. I didn't know what he was going to do. So he was safe and he successfully got released the second time to Bonita. Of course, she was happy to see him. She's hugging him. And I'm looking at the two of them and he looks so small next to her. It's crazy. Is she just really tall or is he just not very tall? I don't know. Maybe it's both. But she's, of course, happy to see him. They get back in the car and he's like, let me see your finger. And she's getting a little nervous because if you guys remember, in the last season, she lost her previous engagement ring and she replaced it with like a cubic zirconia ring. And he looked at it and he didn't notice that it was different. So the decoy ring worked out. So Damon said he doesn't have a favorite yet. He had a good time with Goddess yesterday and now he's planning to have a good time with Bonita today. And then he'll report back. And Bonita was asking him, hey, how did your mom find out that your time got pushed back? And he was like, oh, I was able to get a phone and call her real quick. That's how she found out. Now, that was also a close call, but luckily he talked his way out of that. So then we see Goddess wondering where the heck Damon is. She's calling him and he's not answering, like his phone's not on. So she calls his cousin, the one that picked him up, and she was like, is Damon with you? And he was like, nah. And he hangs up the phone and she wanted to ask him something else, but he had already hung up. And that's where this episode ended. You guys let me know what y'all thought about it in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you want more Love After Lockup content, then go ahead and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.
I'm not going to apologize to her. I'll tell you that right now.